What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical, episode 42. We got Sam, we got Burke, and the divisional round just wrapped up, so we're going to talk about it. Anyone want to start with anything? We got the Bills choke again, and Pat Mahomes is inevitable. And then we have...
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, that was...
Who's your
then we
daddy?
have Lamar Jackson and... wait, who else? Who else won?
Lamar Jackson
Jared
won.
Goff.
The Lions and the Niners won.
Lions and the Niners, bro. Long
So we
week.
got-
I'm blanking.
Long week.
You saw what happened in the Niners game towards the end. There was a... on that fourth down play, Niners were like lined up off sides and they didn't
Yo,
didn't call them off
am I
sides.
reading this right?
Probably
What?
not.
It says there's 106 people in here.
It's possible.
121?
121.
Whenever I'm on the pod, we get fucking
Bro,
views.
Gavin Sell it, bro. We are Jake Drones,
All right,
bro. We are just lived up right now, boys.
So how about
What up?
this? Let's actually interact with everybody. Leave questions down below if you guys want us to talk about
Yeah,
it.
if
That'd be sick.
you're in the live, we just started
Throw some
episode
questions
42.
out, boys.
We're talking the divisional round, so anything you guys want to talk about, let us know. We'll add it to the pod.
Supreme
One thing I
laser
did just
engraving.
see, one thing I did just see before we started, Zach Ertz just signed a couple hours ago with the Lions.
Right.
Really?
Didn't their backup tight end go down or something? Is that why?
I don't know
Laporta
why,
was dealing
but
with
not-
that injury that he got in week 17. And then they had
Yeah,
they
but
had
I mean,
the other
like,
guy right.
how much of an impact is he? You know, he has to learn the whole system and everything. You know, I doubt he'll be ready for this upcoming week. I mean, if he is, it's very limited plays. So
yeah, but then again, if they do end up making it to the Super Bowl, he has 3 weeks to prepare.
yeah, that's true. I mean,
That's true, but I mean, at
knows?
the end of the day,
But then again,
Zach
nobody
Ertz-
thinks-
Zach Ertz. I don't see him moving
was
the
he
needle.
was he healthy this season?
I honestly don't remember. I mean, to be honest, once the season started, everybody kind of knew the Cardinals were going to be out of it,
Yeah.
so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
All right.
honestly, Trey McBride just probably took the job from him in the offseason. He was a problem. I wanted the Jets to go after him at
Ertz
Colorado State.
Ertz is aging, or aged. So I mean, his career is kind of panned out the way it is. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about the division round because we already are down to like 50 people because we're talking about Zach Ertz. So I think we should start off with the Ravens. No, what do you guys
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens came out slow, but they ended up showing us exactly who we thought they were. I mean, Lamar is just doing everything he needs to do. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 through the air. He could have had a third one if Aguilar decided to fucking block somebody, but
Yeah. It's always weird. Like the stat lines don't always like scream like they should be putting up 30 points a game. It's just like Lamar threw for 150 yards. You know, he had 100 yards rushing. You know, and then the next leading rusher was like Gus Edwards with however many. But I don't think he had like a crazy rushing day.
yeah, no.
And it's just like they put up like 30 points. All of a sudden, it's just like, granted, like Lamar, he has 4 touchdowns alone. It's just like it's so weird. It's just like all of a sudden, bam! It's
Because they're so good on every part. I mean, when you have some of the best special teams in the league and you're able to pin teams within the 25-yard line, then your defense goes out there, gives you...
I think that's the big thing is like their defense just makes big stops and they're always in good field position. That's I wonder what like their average field position is for
Yeah, like their constant net yardage throughout a game.
yeah, like stuff like that. Where it's just like if you're constantly starting on like the 40-yard line or the 35-yard line as opposed to other teams, your defense is holding them and keeping them on the 20, 25. Like all that is just it's an extra first down that you have to get. It's extra 10, 15 yards you got to go get. It's tough, and like you're saying, like it that adds to the stats. So it's like every drive you have to add another 15, or for them they're subtracting that 15, 20 yards. Because their defense and special teams are just that much better. I mean, they're definitely to me the most complete team in the playoffs. I think right now. I think the Niners kind of struggled like pretty heavily offensively, and the Ravens really didn't. They didn't struggle at all. Their defense looked really solid. I think right now they're the most complete team.
Yeah, I mean, really the only thing outside of that, I mean, they clearly have
It has to be like a glitch, bro.
Well, we also don't know what the volume situation is, how well the iPhone's picking up the audio.
It's true.
Well, oh well. Put the volume up.
It's not that good audio.
Makes sense.
All right.
You hear Blaze making his fucking fruity ass salad back
click-clacking in
there.
Yeah.
coming out here, fucking trying to give us.
Nosferatu coming around the edge, playing with the lights.
It's the hash slinging slasher. Why not? Fair. All right, what were you saying, Sam?
The big thing I was saying, I mean, 49ers have a clear advantage in the running game just for the aspect of having Christian McCaffrey. And even when McCaffrey isn't on the field, the offensive line is good enough to get whenever Christian McCaffrey needs a breather. You're always going to be able to get a push up front with Trent Williams and those guys.
Who's the backup? Jeff Wilson, like, right? Didn't even when McCaffrey came out, like Jeff Wilson played fine.
Wilson and Mason.
Wilson and Mason, yeah.
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 I mean, McCaffrey.
Well, wait. We're bugging. It's not Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's on the Dolphins. It's Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, it is Elijah Mitchell.
Whatever. Either way, it's regardless. Like you're saying, like the point was like you're saying, like when McCaffrey gets hurt or he gets banged up, like whoever comes in behind him is doing just as fine.
Banged up. I think I remember back in I think it was week 16, first play of the game, McCaffrey has like a 73-yard run. He gets tackled on the 2-yard line. Then Elijah Mitchell comes in, or Mason came in and got a 3-yard touchdown.
I don't know. It does seem like it's panning out to just be the 2 number 1 seeds, Niners. I mean, the Lions looked really good, but I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with the Niners.
They're gonna have to play perfect.
Last week, I would have said they couldn't, but I don't think the Niners really played that well this past week.
They did it, but the Ravens started out slow too. I think it's just the
bye week kind of really slows up offenses.
Because that entire bye week, you're really not sure about who you're facing. You're kind of just putting in your general packages and making sure everybody's healthy and really resting up. And then when the next week comes, you've been out of football for going on 10 days at that point before you even step on the field for a game plan.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to get back in that rhythm. But once the second half started for the Ravens, they picked it up immediately. They went into the half 10-10. And then they outscored them, what was it, 20 to 7?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It really wasn't close at all. And, it kind of,
check the box.
I mean, it kind of really came, it was interesting because it kind of, after last week and what the Texans did to the Browns, I think a lot of people were starting to believe that, maybe the Texans are that team that can make this run. And so quickly, things just came crashing back down to earth. Their offense could not do anything against the Ravens all game. Nothing they were doing worked.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean, it was obviously, don't get me wrong, a fantastic rookie season from C.J. Stroud, obviously one of the best rookie quarterbacks since we've seen. But it kind of came back, he came back down to earth, and it was kind of the same thing when he played the Jets that day. Obviously, he ended up getting the concussion. But I think the next question for him now is we've seen what he can do against decent teams. Obviously, the Browns we thought were an elite defense. They didn't show up. But, Ravens defense, he does nothing. Jets defense, he does nothing. I think next year he's really got to prove it against these elite defenses.
I don't even think it's so much that. I think he is. I think he's exactly who at least I thought he was going to be coming into the league. I thought he should have been the first pick. But I think it's more important for the front office to say, all right, we got our guy. He's on a rookie contract. Let's go all in. Let's spend as much money as we can. Let's get all the weapons that he needs. Obviously, with the Tank Dell injury, you need to hope that he comes back and is at 100% by the time the season starts. But that's still not enough. You need to, upgrade the running back slot. You need to upgrade the.
There's receivers out there for them to grab. Everybody's talked about
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, Mike Evans potentially. Adams is on the trade block. What's his name? Even for the Lions, the guy Reynolds. He's not a bad.
Yeah, but they need a guy who's going to be a solidified number 1 option. Tank Dell's a perfect number 2.
I think Nico Collins can be that number 1 if you put a guy across from him. Even guys like
but that's my point. If you need a guy across from you,
Keenan Allen Keenan Allen's potentially on the block. Even Mike Williams is potentially on the block.
Yeah, but I don't know
from the Chargers. Well,
those two guys, bro.
They need to free up space.
They're just waiting to be. Together.
I mean, Keenan Allen.
They're waiting for the injured reserve list.
Guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, they seem to just be timeless. It's just no matter what they do. So it's those are good options for the Texans to possibly.
I think that makes more sense.
A 1 year guy. Just be listen, let's see what it is, and then, and then you can keep focusing on building for the future, where it's just like you give him that elite receiver so that he can develop himself while he's young.
Right, but I think it makes more sense for him to have somebody who he can grow with, which is why I think
that's what Nico Collins I think is.
Well, I think Nico Collins is like that. I think they care more about Tank Dell for that, but I think T. Higgins is a better fit for them. I think of someone like Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, or even Mike Evans, who's more established, is probably better for a situation like the Bears, who has a bunch of cap space, already has a guy who's a number one option, and is just looking for another receiver who they can plug in, who used to be a number one but can transition to a number two and help out a guy like Justin Fields.
Well, that's why I've always been like, you bring in like a veteran presence. That's where I'm coming from. Is like you bring in a veteran presence where it's Evans or a guy like Evans can help out Nico Collins progress. He can help out guys like CJ Stroud progress in their careers just from like different aspects of the game, just being around the game, being around guys like Brady and stuff like that, being around coaches like Bruce Arians for Mike Evans. It's just like they bring like a certain kind of knowledge to the game where I think that really helps elevate guys, where it's like T. Higgins, he's been around Burrow and stuff like that, but he's never really been like at that elite level. Especially like he's been a number two his entire life. So you're going to go out there and you say you need to go get a number one, where it's like, well, he's never been a number one. So
he's never been in a position just because of Jamar Chase.
Right, but
he's never had the opportunity to. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean he doesn't have the physical ability to do it.
I mean, Jamar was hurt for half this year, and he didn't. It's not. He started to kind of play well, but I mean,
but we all agree that the Bengals weren't who.
Jake Browning was showing that he could be a competent player in the NFL.
He could be a competent player, but he's not Joe Burrow.
Bust? I don't know.
Oh,
Joey Bust?
Here we go.
I think the thing with Joe Burrow is,
he's just got to stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's a top 5 QB.
He was clearly playing injured throughout the start of the year.
We knew he was injured coming into the year when he had that calf sleeve on.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like the fact that he tried to play through it. And that's the thing with a lot of guys in these sports. It's like, bro, like at some point, it's just like, I understand you're tough, and like some of these, if it's a playoff game, sure, all that, but
like week 3, like what are you doing?
Just if you are not good, just take off. Your team is better off that way. It's like, bro, he looked so bad. The team looked so bad when he was playing the beginning of the year through that injury. I think the first week that he didn't even throw for 100 yards.
Yeah, and they got off to a slow start because of it. But, like, going into the season, you can't say, all right, let's just throw Jake Browning out there, who's been taking second-team reps all preseason long, has no experience, and is just going to come in and compete in probably the toughest division in football.
I mean, that's got to be, like, comforting for them knowing. It's just like, well, if, say, Burrow, like, needs those few weeks in the beginning, it's comforting knowing for them. And like, oh, well, Browning can come in and maybe win us a couple games or keep us afloat until Joe comes back.
Right. Now you have that information, but going into the season last year with Joe Burrow playing through that injury and having the calf sleeve on.
Those were his first ever games, Browning?
I think those are his first starts. I think he's coming here and there as relief. I think those are his first real starts.
We need to get back to the playoff teams that we're talking about. Fucking Bengals right now.
All right, so fine. Back to the playoff teams. I think going into specifically the AFC Championship game, I think that's the best matchup out of the two. Obviously, the Lions are great, but when you got Mahomes versus Lamar, and the possibility of Mark Andrews coming back, I mean, I know that they were talking about that during the broadcast. I know it's a long shot, but still, the prospect of him coming back after an injury that he had when his ankle turned complete sideways against the Bengals, actually.
I think this week too, like that, we were talking about legacy last week, where it's like who benefits the most legacy wise from winning the Super Bowl. It's like if you can look at the path too, where it's like, all right, well, like say he beat CJ Stroud in the first round. I was like, all right, whatever. But now it's like you're going out there and you're beating Mahomes, you're beating the Chiefs, like the top dog of the AFC for the past however long he's been in the league, 6-7 years. It's like that's adding to that. So like if he can beat them and then beat the Niners or whoever it is in the Super Bowl, I mean I think it's going to be the Niners coming out against the Lions. But beating Patrick Mahomes to kind of like overtake that, winning the MVP again.
Yeah,
I was saying like that would be like a real solidifying moment for Lamar's career, being like, hey, like I'm worthy of being like Hall of Fame, conversations right now. Now it's just like he's won an MVP, he's had some good seasons, like
but he hasn't had great playoff success,
right? So like that's like a lot of things for a quarterback, like they look at for Hall of Fame rankings and stuff where it's like, Eli Manning is a bum of a fucking quarterback.
He's 500 in his career, but he's got 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, so he's going to be in the Hall of Fame because it's just as a quarterback, he won 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady. It's like, all right, there's a Hall of Fame right there.
But the thing is, he made the plays when it mattered.
Right.
And that was a big thing about Lamar is that even when he was making it to the playoffs and he was on these good teams, he wasn't performing. And even going into it, he was injured a lot of the time coming into the playoffs and towards the end of seasons. And that was a big knock against him, especially being a running quarterback.
Right. These last couple seasons, he's missed like 4 games each, at least 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, I remember towards the end of last season with Tyler Huntley. I mean, the offense just wasn't even there. There wasn't even a reason for them to have a quarterback. They should have just been running Wildcat the whole time at that point.
But that's another thing to touch on about Lamar quickly is like when we spoke last week about like which quarterback and the legacy and stuff like that. Outside of like beating Mahomes, it's the fact that Lamar, like people are like he's a running back. He's not a true quarterback. And then if he can go through these guys, C.J. Stroud, who people are saying this guy is one of the best pure quarterbacks in the league, then Mahomes, who by anyone's standards is one of the best quarterbacks talent-wise of all time throwing the football, and then to go either beat a really really good 49ers team or a really good Detroit team, all this stuff it adds up, and it's just proving it time and time again that all of his critics were just wrong. And I mean, at first, not really. I wasn't really a critic of him at first. I thought he was going to be decent, but it's hard to say anyone thought he'd be at this level. And then on top of that, it's like he's doing this with just really not a great cast. And then it's like that was like Mahomes' excuse all year. Is like, well, Mahomes, he's got no receivers. He's just got Kelsey. Pacheco's been amazing for them.
Yeah, I love Pacheco.
Rashee Rice has stepped up.
Rashee Rice is, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like they have similar talent around them on the offensive side of the ball, especially with Mark Andrews out. So
yeah, I think at this point with Mark Andrews being out, I think probably the Chiefs have the better lineup now, but there's also that knock on running quarterbacks in general. There's never been a running quarterback to really win the Super Bowl. I mean, unless you consider Steve Young a running quarterback, but you got guys like Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton. That's always been Jalen Hurts. There's always been that knock.
Burke.
Yeah. But regardless, I do agree with you. Where like you're saying, it's just like they always say they're non-traditional quarterbacks. You can't build an offense around them. How are you supposed to set up a passing game when the first thing he wants to do is run? It's true. It's tough. It's tough on Lamar because it's like how good do I have to play before people just sit here and just be like, hey, I'm out here doing my thing. I'm out here winning these games, playing well. I'm doing everything I can. My best receiver gets hurt. I don't really have a true number one receiver. The beginning of the year, J.K. Dobbins, their number one running back, goes down, and it's just like he continues to just kind of perform at an elite level, and people are just like, I still prefer Mahomes. I still prefer Allen. I still prefer Burrow. It's just like, well, what else do I have to do? I'm about to win my second MVP, potentially be in the Super Bowl. It'd be interesting to see some of these narratives start changing. If he does win the Super Bowl.
Well, but
if people
that's
are
what it
still
takes.
going to say it, just be like, there's always be those people that be like, oh, it's a fluke, it was a 1 year thing, whatever.
Nah, I don't think so. Because if you're a guy, especially if he then wins the Super Bowl MVP with a really good game, but the thing is that they've been winning games this year with him not having to have great games. Well, he'll have 180 yards passing, 60 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. But the team just they still, like you said, they win 30 to 15. 30.
It's like you're sitting there and be like this weekend, Lamar had 150 passing yards, 34 points. It's just
and they still win. So that's the thing is that
they won decisively, and like you were saying, outscored them 24-0 in the second half.
Yeah,
and he only put up 150 passing yards. But I mean.
There's only so much that you could do. All you got to do is go out there and play. And if he wins, he wins. And he's probably going to win the NFL MVP if he goes.
Yeah.
I feel like even if he has that kind of game in the Super Bowl, unless there's a defensive player or a running back has two touchdowns at 100 yards, he's going to end up winning the MVP.
Right. But I don't see anybody on his offense.
Yeah, unless some guy on the defense has some ridiculous game.
Yeah, like
or
Kyle Hamilton has like 10 tackles,
Right.
a forced fumble,
Someone
a pick
has,
six,
like,
something
a pick
wild.
six, a forced
like,
fumble,
when they-
another interception.
when
like,
they when they
outside
gave
of
it
that-
to like when they gave it to
Von Miller.
Von Miller, yeah, you got that late pick or whatever. It's just, it solidifies things like that.
Yeah,
You know, but like it's Lamar's. You know, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say, but like, you know, I feel like it's Lamar's MVP. You know, to lose almost, because it's just like he is the focal point of that team.
Right.
Where it's just like there's not much. I wouldn't say there's not much around. We keep saying that, where it's just like Zay Flowers has played really well. Gus
Rashad
Edwards.
Bateman's a first round pick. Odell's a first round pick. He has players who are talented and were drafted highly.
Right.
playing around him.
Just, you know,
And he has
their
one of the
offensive
best-
line's been really good.
Yeah, and
Their
their offensive line's
really good.
tops in the league.
right. You can't say Odell didn't pan, but Bateman hasn't really panned out as much.
No, but when he's the third option, does it really matter?
that's Right. You're right.
So let's hop over to Kansas City then for the other AFC team. I think that Travis Kelce finally had a breakout game that we were all waiting for. He's kind of been having a slow go for the last month or so.
Yeah, he's been having the Taylor Swift curse lately.
Exactly.
Jason was there, so he was able.
Yeah,
to,
he was able
to
kind of like
negated it.
balance.
He's negated it.
Yeah, he was
You saw that
negating
picture
out
of
the
him?
T Swift.
Where he was he's just fucking
Just like
shirtless,
hanging,
he's
yeah,
"Let's
like
go."
hanging it, bro. He like jumped out of he's in a box, obviously. He just jumps out and is just like hanging in the stands with these people, just
He was taking
shirtless.
pictures with these kids are giving him their 12-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And the people in the comments are Jason Kelsey's the only shirtless man I would feel comfortable letting my 12-year-old kid take. He's out there looking like fucking Santa Claus.
Bro, he is a unit of a human being.
Yeah.
Too. It's just like he jumps out of there and he's standing next to these people and he's just a monster. It's like no wonder that tush push works fucking like a charm. It's like when that guy's just leading the charge, followed behind and Jalen Hurts is just behind you, a guy who squats 600 pounds. How do you not get 5 yards every time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the running back just fucking behind him, just fucking shoving. I was like, of course they're getting fucking 4 or 5 yards every time.
Yep.
I just run that play. I would run that play 100 times a game.
You get about, and it's not even like they're just getting the yard; they're getting 3 to 4 almost every time.
Yeah, they're getting. Yeah, he's not getting touched in that first yard.
Yeah, no.
Everybody was so stunned. It was oh, the Bucs stopped it, and then
You got a guy like Vita Vea in the middle that helps out.
yeah, but I mean the Lions went out and they ran it against them, and I'm hearing the announcers go oh, I wouldn't run the tush push against these Bucs, and then Jared Goff just rushes for 3 yards on 3rd or 4th and 1. It was just I was I most certainly would have ran the tush push there. I was bro,
Yeah,
they're not gonna
it's
stop
just-
this every time. Tom Brady did it for 20 fucking years of his career.
I mean, his was a touch push. His was all right.
I know what I'm saying,
The D tackles on the left side shade. All right, I'm running to the right.
but I'm
It
saying
was just
the
common sense.
QB sneak when you have when you have a good center the Detroit Lions that guy Glasgow whatever it is,
yeah.
he's a really good, and he played banged up. I don't know if you saw they kept showing he got his
No,
ankles,
I think that was the right guard. I don't think that was him.
isn't he? He's the center. I thought.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was the one that got hurt. I think the
Oh,
right
I thought
guard
it
got
was
hurt.
him.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. He got rolled up on.
got
He was
rolled up on. I thought
he
it
was
was-
on the sideline. They were checking his ankle. He came back out. He was still limping. I know
was it
exactly.
Glasgow?
I don't
Was it the
think
center?
so. You may be right, but I'm pretty sure it was the right guard.
Whatever. But even if
Yeah.
when you have a center like Kelsey or a center like Glasgow, or even now Joe Tippmann, the tush push is
Or even
just
Mitch Morse. I mean, he's been great for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just you have big QBs like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, or Jared Goff is a big fucking guy too.
Yeah.
trying to take a guy down when you got he's got 300 pounders just fucking aiming at your knees. He needs to get 1 yard. It's a no brainer.
Yeah.
No brainer play.
Yeah.
So
Should we start with the Chiefs, I guess?
yeah,
We kind of got sidetracked off the Chiefs.
yeah, we
but,
did. We started talking about Jason Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean,
What a beast.
well, because we were talking about how Travis was yesterday, but
Right.
also outside of that, it's just someone I feel that never gets talked about. Ironically, potentially Obi's cousin. Pacheco has he just goes out there every single game, and I feel every time he touches the ball, he gets 5 yards.
Yeah, no, I love him. I mean, he's just so
6.5 yards per carry.
yeah, he's just insane. I had him on my fantasy team. I just loved it because he was just so. I love the way he plays, even though he looks hilarious when he's running.
Yeah, he's just like a doofy kind of run.
But he's just
He
does what he has to do, and-
He runs harder than
almost anybody in the league.
Yeah, than any running back in the league right now. It's just like when you see him coming at you, hey yo, like as like a smaller safety or a corner.
Yeah.
Like they always say, like, oh, like so and so made a business decision. It was like you'll see guys getting out of his way.
Yeah, I guarantee you, him and Kyle Hamilton, if they meet, that's going to be a wild play. Kyle Hamilton is not a small dude. He's like 6'4", 220.
He's a big boy.
He's a big dude. He's going to go straight at him.
Pacheco, man, he gets running. Those fucking clodhoppers start fucking slopping down the fucking field.
Dude, he runs like he's he's mad at the ground. He's running high knees.
He runs like he's wearing like flippers, like fucking like scuba diving flippers. like he's got to pick his feet up just to fucking get him off the ground, just so he doesn't trip. I mean,
they use him in the passing game a lot, which I love.
Yeah, he got a couple.
He gets a lot of
weekend.
screenplays.
But I mean, like you're seeing this like the box score here for them. You know, Mahomes still had 215 yards. But it's just all right. Kelsey with 5 catches. Rashee Rice had 4, and it's like Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like it just
he had that one really nice catch in the second half though. But other than that,
like
it was
very
just
like the backup tight end Noah Gray. Then it's like Mecole Hardman has a catch.
Did you see his stat line?
Mecole Hardman?
Are you on Twitter right now? Go on Twitter and look up Mecole Hardman's stat line. It was possibly the worst stat line I've ever seen for a football player.
He was like
one target for 2 catch.
No, it was like one catch,
2 yards,
and then he also had one like rush for -2 yards, and he had 2 fumbles.
He had 2 rushes.
He had
two rushes for negative yards and 2 fumbles.
He was the one that fumbled, and then it got the touchback.
It went through the end zone. Yeah.
What a stupid fucking rule. You know what else is a stupid rule?
Oh, you like that too? Because they was talking about, somebody said that they're going to try and change the rule. I think that's so dumb. I think it's a perfect
You know
rule.
what else was a stupid rule is, I'm pretty sure Buffalo did this. Yeah, it was either Knox or Kincaid. They fumbled, and then the guy swats the ball out of bounds. And that's illegal swatting. Like, that's just smart. Like, what a stupid fucking rule that is. It was like, get rid of that rule. It's like, all right, you can't advance it. Fine. I can't swat it 10 yards up the field and then I gain 10 yards. But if I'm swatting that ball away from a defender so that I don't get a turnover on this play, you're penalizing me. It was 10 yards and a loss of down.
Yeah, that's a little much.
That is brutal for me just being like, okay, I didn't just go, well, I'm just going to let the other team get the ball because I'm on the ground and I can't fucking crawl my way over before these guys fucking pick up the ball. I was like, this is a stupid fucking rule.
That one.
And so is the fumble. Like
the fumble through the end zone makes sense.
No.
So what's supposed to happen? Buffalo gets the ball at the 1 yard line.
Huh?
Buffalo gets the ball at the 1 yard line.
Why would Buffalo get the ball? They didn't pick up the ball.
Why should Kansas City get the ball? They fumbled the ball.
But nobody picked it up.
So,
You're just going to change possessions because a guy fumbled and nobody picked the ball up? I fumbled the ball out of bounds. Does that change possessions?
It went through it's a free ball and it goes through the end zone.
But just because it's going through the end zone, you just all of a sudden it's just like turnover.
I love it.
It's not considered a turnover. It's a touchback.
So
it's completely different.
But it is a turnover. Like Buffalo got the ball out of that. So it's not a turnover, but it is. You're turning the ball to the other team. You're giving the other team the ball.
I would say it's a turnover. Yeah.
It's just like if I fumble the ball out of bounds, I get no penalty. But if I fumble it out of bounds in the end zone, it's all of a sudden it's the other team's ball. Why?
I mean, that's how it works when you punt, when you not even a punt on kickoffs. When you kick a ball and it goes past 10 yards and the kicking team recovers it, it's their ball. It's a free ball. But if it goes through the back of the end zone, the other team then gets it at the 25-yard line.
That's like an entirely different
It's a free ball.
But that's only
a fumble is a free football.
That's also only due to these new rules, these new protection rules.
No, it's not. Touchback has always been.
No. But I'm saying if I before these new protection rules, if I as a returner on a kickoff just walked away from that ball, you could have picked it up and just banged touchdown.
If it doesn't land, if it lands in the end zone and he doesn't catch it, it's a touchback.
Once again, those are those new protection rules.
No, that's not the new protection rule. The new protection rule is him calling a fair catch at the 10-yard line,
inside the 20-yard line or whatever.
Yeah, that's a fair catch.
10, 15, 20 years ago, before they started changing all these kickoff rules for concussions, you used to be able, like, if you just let that ball go, you used to be able to just pick it up and touchdown. those are newer rules, but like you're changing. They were changing all of that for protection of players because they wanted less kickoffs because all this concussion nonsense started. Well, I can't say nonsense.
Nonsense.
Antonio,
He's getting there.
Antonio Brown and Chandler
Jones really CTing it up there.
Chandler Jones was on some podcast the other day, and
He was singing some song to Bill Belichick on Twitter. It's just like these guys,
It's sad to see,
but besides
really.
that, it was just like I don't know. We got once again getting sidetracked.
Well, all right. Before we wrap that up, though, what would you rule it if let's say he fumbled out of
What's
the end
supposed to
zone?
happen?
Mecole
Dead
Hardman
ball right
fumbled.
there.
Dead ball
right
at the
there.
1 yard line.
Why not? Dead ball, Chiefs ball. Like, did he turn the ball over? Did Buffalo pick up the ball and change possession? No. So why did they get the ball?
What if they made it like a touchback and they just got the ball, but they had to go back to the 20-yard line?
I'd be more in favor for that than just all of a sudden just giving the defense.
Maybe don't fumble the football.
I agree with Sam. I think it's fun.
The defense
as long as
for-
the Jets
okay.
aren't doing it, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I got Austin
It's
Safari.
entertainment.
I got
It's
Austin Safari
entertaining.
Exactly.
Jenkins scoring a touchdown, but he fumbled it at the fucking end zone. Like, fuck you. No, he didn't.
He
First
did.
off-
He should have held onto the ball.
Bro, he crossed the plane.
But the thing is,
He didn't
once you're
cross the
in,
plane.
but wait,
He didn't have possession.
Safari
when
and
cross-
Jenkins.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he lost possession of the football. Look up the video.
This is like the most undisputed call of all time. Where it was like,
Am I thinking about the wrong one?
Where
Oh, against the Patriots?
Against the Patriots,
Oh,
Austin
yeah,
Safari and
that one,
Jenkins
that
crosses
one's
the
different.
plane.
But this one, Mecole Hardman lost possession of the football before he reached the goal line.
Okay, so once again, if I fumble the ball out of bounds, I don't lose possession. But I fumble the ball through the end zone and I lose possession. It makes no sense to me. You're just changing the entire rule and making it a turnover because
We're not changing the entire rule. That's been the rule for the past 50 years. You want to
No, but
change the rule.
I'm saying.
What the fuck is he talking about?
What I'm saying is like you made a different fucking rule just because of the area of the field. Just because I fumbled through the end zone.
Well, it's the end zone.
I fumbled through the end zone
There's no more field.
through the side of the fucking end zone as opposed to the sideline on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, because it's still in play.
How is it? Is the end zone not in play?
The end zone is the end of the fucking field.
But it's still in play, right? I can still run around in the end zone.
No, you can't run around the end zone. The
That's
second
true.
you cross the plane, the play's over.
If I'm the ball carrier,
Yeah, if you're the ball
the
carrier.
but the
once the
end
ball
zone is
once the ball crosses the goal line,
right?
it's the end of the fucking play.
So then, but that has nothing to do with anything. I'm not. He's not crossing the end zone with the ball. So once again, if I fumbled that ball into the end zone, live ball, right? Ball still in play
Unless it rolls
until
through
somebody grabs it, right?
Yeah, unless it
But
rolls
why-
out of bounds.
But then why is that a touchback and a turnover?
Because it's a free football.
All right, let's move
Just
on.
like on a punt and a kickoff, it's a free football. But if it rolls through the back of the end zone, it's an automatic touchback for the receiving team.
Those are also it's an entirely different thing.
It's not because it's a free football rolling through the back of the end zone.
But it didn't roll through the back of the end zone.
Whatever, the
Saying
fucking
the same
sideline
things
back.
and forth for 5 minutes. It's the same
If
thing.
it's a fumble in the end zone, the defense jumps on it, it's a touchback. Or did it get it at the 25?
No, it's
Nobody jumped on it. You're not even paying attention.
I know. I'm on your side, dummy.
Yeah, yeah, but you're not helping me because you're not saying what happened.
I don't even know what he's trying to
Let's
say.
Let's just move. Yeah, all right, before we start talking about the Bills, let's do a Would You Rather Isaiah Pacheco.
Okay,
Okay?
go.
All right, so Would You Rather Isaiah Pacheco edition. First up, Isaiah Pacheco or Josh Jacobs?
Pacheco.
yeah.
It's tough to say because he was on the Raiders this year.
Yeah,
you know,
I
so
think- I think
it's hard to,
when-
you can't really.
Like 2 years ago, Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher, and he's very viable in the pass game. But I mean, just this year, the Raiders were just so bad. So like right now, I'd say Pacheco, but I mean, it's tough because
Are we taking the contracts into account also?
No.
No,
just
it's just
player?
like you just need a guy. Say you need a running back for a team. No contract.
I think it's a little
Then
bit.
I'd
It's hard
probably
to
go
judge
Jacobs.
Jacobs on this past year, but I would go Isaiah Pacheco.
That's the problem. It's because Jacobs has been in the league for an extra 4 or 5 years on top of Pacheco.
Yeah,
Right.
We're just
So,
talking about like right now, not
yeah,
like
like,
long
you-
term. Just
you
like
need-
who would you want to have right now in a game?
You need one good season out of a guy.
Probably Josh Jacobs then because I've seen more from him. I don't know how good Pacheco's had one good year and a solid playoff
second
run last
year,
year.
no?
Yeah, but he didn't really come onto the scene until the end of last year and the playoffs.
Right after I got hosed for Clyde Edwards-Helaire by Sam.
Well,
I did that in like week 3.
And then I say, fuck
all
you.
right. Next up, Isaiah Pacheco or James Cook?
Isaiah Pacheco or James Cook. Honestly, I like James Cook. I thought he had a sick game yesterday. Like
The thing that scares me with James Cook is he either fumbles or has these costly drops. He dropped a touchdown yesterday that would have given the Bills the lead. He has he's either makes these amazing plays or he has these boneheaded plays. He's kind of like the Josh Allen of running backs. It feels like.
I like Cook though. I think I'm gonna go with Cook too. I mean, for a guy also, he's like, they're both in similar offenses where it's like they're throwing the ball 40 yards a game, and then Cook just he was still able to come out with a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
He's just. I like Cook a lot. I think he's going to be very good for Buffalo in the upcoming years. If they keep him around, extend him, or whatever they need to do. But I
they
think
got to pay
keep
Josh
him around.
Allen.
Huh?
They got to pay Josh Allen.
He's already paid, no?
No, I think he was on his. I think this was his fifth year.
Option.
Shit. All right. Next up, Isaiah Pacheco or Kenneth Walker?
Pacheco.
Oh,
Pacheco.
by the way, I would take Pacheco over James Cook, but yes.
Pacheco over Kenneth Walker.
Pacheco.
Yeah, I love Kenneth Walker too, but Pacheco's just better.
Yeah, I think he's just like a way more solid runner.
The difference, though, I think Kenneth Walker is more of a home run hitter. Pacheco just doesn't have that second gear. But I would take Pacheco.
Right, but you can give Pacheco the ball 25 times a game, consistently.
He's still going to get you 110 yards.
Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker is, he's not like a
boomer
he's
bust.
Not, he's not to me yet where it's a guy, you're giving him, 25 carries a game where it's, kind of trying to ground, big ground and pound. Where Pacheco, you can really ground and pound with him. I'm saying, if the passing game's not working out, you can turn to Pacheco, I feel like, better than you can turn to Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for that, though, is that Pacheco has a much better offensive line. That's been the thing for the Seahawks for the past 5 years. The offensive line has just been so bad since Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Left.
Last one, because I have to go switch to the camera. Isaiah Pacheco or Joe Mixon?
That's a good one.
I'm going Pacheco.
I'm also going Pacheco.
I think Joe Mixon's another
he's
big boomer
His
bust
volume
guy.
is he gets so much volume in both the passing and the running game.
That's what you just said about Pacheco too, though.
Yeah, but
he's doing it behind
better.
And he's doing it behind a worse offensive line.
Yeah, way worse.
I know.
I don't know.
Sure.
Niners.
Niners just they got off to that slow start.
Sluggish, yeah.
They looked like they were sleepwalking. And then second half comes along.
But a big thing is, too, is I wouldn't the Packers have a solid defense, so, it's a much different feel for them coming out against a Packers team who's hot with a really good defense that's gotten a lot healthier than the Ravens, who are on the bye week, coming against the Texans, who have a solid defense, but I think the Packers defense, to me, I feel like is a little better, especially in the secondary. So it's when you can hold off those guys, like Debo and Ayuk, and then it's just, all right, you got to focus on McCaffrey. It's just, McCaffrey can only do so much.
Yeah. Although that touchdown pass from Purdy to Kittle was a really nice play.
Yeah.
That was really nice, and that's the biggest thing for them is that they have weapons everywhere. Right. Even if you're able to hold down Debo and Ayuk,
even if Debo's out this game, though, it's just like you're saying, it's still Kittle, Ayuk, McCaffrey.
Jennings stepped up when he needed to.
It's just
he made some great catches.
Mm-hmm.
They just have guys just in and out, guys stepping up when people get hurt. They're a very complete team. And it showed because the resilience of a team like that, where it's just all right, you can come out so slow for a half, and then it's just even midway through the third quarter, it was then they kind of started getting things going a little bit, putting some drives together, and then fourth quarter putting up the points and the comeback.
Yeah. Well, also it just showed, continued CMC, man. He's just continuing to just dominate. That first touchdown run he had. What was it, 39 yards, something like that? 33 yards.
He is just better at football than everybody.
Yeah.
He just really is.
He's having an amazing season.
And even though they lost, I think the Packers system of just drafting a guy, letting him sit, letting him learn, and it's panning out for them again, and it's going to continue to pan out for them because even though they lost, I think, and it wasn't the greatest game, Jordan Love is
Jordan
that guy.
Love showed that he can be. He'll be an MVP dark horse next year.
Yeah,
I think he'll be like a top 7 MVP favorite. And it makes you think for teams like the Jets right now that have Rodgers, is do you just
draft Jordan Travis day 3?
Yeah, or not? do you even go out there on day one or day two and draft a QB in the first round or even, the second?
Nah, because I think I mean, this is getting off topic, but I think that they're in a win now position. They were in win now last year and they got screwed over
but I mean,
without Rodgers.
Joe Douglas has always been where it's just like he understands where if things aren't panning out, he's able to, he makes it so he's always able to quickly reset. So it's just like, well,
yeah, I agree.
if they're able to kind of, Rodgers, doesn't get him over that hump, is he able to kind of quickly reset and then put that next QB that's able to step in next?
I think that's a next offseason problem because Rodgers already indicated he's going to play at least 2 more years.
Yeah, so I mean, like the Packers were showing that where it was just like, all right, like, Rodgers is gone. It's a quick reset right into, we have the defense pieces.
The thing is,
there.
it wasn't a quick reset because he was already. Love was on the team for 3 years, and the Packers got absolutely destroyed for drafting him in the first round to begin with.
Was anybody expecting this kind of season out of the Packers?
No, not at all.
So it's just like,
so that's why I'm saying,
like, all right, so like Alan Lazard gone, Aaron Rodgers gone.
That was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
David Bakhtiari,
he
never plays.
You saw he was.
But I mean, Christian Watson was hurt most of the season. Then you got Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed just coming out, Luke Musgrave coming out. Aaron Jones was banged up most of the year.
The defense stepped up for them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Jair Alexander was hurt a lot of games too. It's just
Darnell Savage.
But Jordan Love just, like you're saying, that system of just developing guys, just having them sit, and then just, throwing guys into the fire isn't. I mean, look at Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes wasn't an immediate starter. He sat.
Yeah.
I mean, even freaking, I'm pretty sure Allen sat for a few games before they started. He sat for like half a season, I think.
Josh Allen, because Tyrod Taylor was there, and then they eventually sat him.
He didn't go right into the fire. It's just, it's tough for guys.
No, actually,
I don't think he started right away.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he started right away, but it wasn't Tyrod Taylor because Tyrod Taylor was the starter for the Browns, and then
Tyrod Taylor was. But they put Baker in for him.
He was the starting quarterback for the Browns, and then Baker came in. So I don't know. He was the quarterback for the Bills.
They were showing
the year before.
No, because they were showing. Remember, it was that thing where it was like QBs that Tyrod Taylor started in front of, and I thought it was Allen, Herbert.
No, it was Baker.
It was Baker, Herbert.
It was Baker and
Tommy
Herbert.
Cutlets, and it was one other guy.
For what?
That Tyrod Taylor started in front of, and then got hurt, and then this guy came out like. So like he started over Baker, started over Herbert, started over Tommy Cutlets. He gets hurt, and then these guys Tommy Cutlets is basura, but
Giants fans after 1 week.
I don't
remember. They beat the Patriots after they missed the field goal.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember who was the quarterback before, but was it Matt Barkley?
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's remember. No, Fitzpatrick just ended his.
Because he was on the Bills before he was on the Jets, and he was with the Jets in 2015.
It might have been Matt Barkley. I actually know because we went to go see.
Look up the 2018.
We went to go see him play Sam Darnold, and both of them were hurt, and it was McCown versus Matt Barkley.
It was a mid-off.
It was an absolute mid-off. But it had to have been Matt Barkley. Or it could have been.
Wait, hold up. I thought we weren't talking about the losers till later.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't Matt Barkley?
We're talking about the Packers for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So all right, so fine. You want to go back? You want to go back to the
Lions?
Yeah, let's go to the Lions. You saw Matt Stafford get on Kirby Joseph's case after he hit Tyler Higbee.
I did see that. But
So after Kirby Joseph, he hit Tyler Higbee in his knee towards ACL and MCL. Matt Stafford got right up in his face. He's like, good hit, but you're a dirty player and you know it.
That's an interesting thing to say.
But, I mean, look.
Good hit, but you're a dirty player. So, not like...
It was interesting.
It was a great play, but still, he goes for the knees. He did it to T.J. Hawkinson. Now he just did it to...
Yeah.
I think he was involved, and I think he was involved in the play
tough,
with
because it's just like, well, if I go up high, I'm getting a targeting call. If I go down low, I'm risking.
So how about you go?
gotta hit it between
Yeah,
them.
go in between that. How about that?
Listen,
You got a full.
I'm talking to two guys that
2
have
feet.
never played a fucking down of football in their life. Talking
I
about
was
like
on-
why don't things
All
just
right,
always
Burke,
work
you were
out?
a quarterback.
I was on a
I played
football
for
team with
fucking
him for
11 years. I
Okay.
didn't play I played quarterback for 2 of them. Shut your fucking
Do those even
mouth.
count? Middle school
Hold
football
on, hold on.
counts?
Just to remind everybody, I was on a football team with him for 3 years. Just to remind everybody.
This never happened. This never
Complete
happened.
conspiracy
I-
theory.
But I played
On
defense.
my locker
But
was
like-
next to his.
No, it wasn't. This never happened. It was like, I always say,
The
it was like,
disrespect.
But like people are always just
Blaze
like, oh,
up
like
on.
why don't you just hit him? Why don't you just hit him square in the chest every time? It's just like it can't always work out like that. If it always worked out like that, you know, like guys would never get injured. There'd be no need for these targeting like rules and stuff like that. But it can't work out like that. It just can't because it just the way guys are running, different angles coming into factor. Like guys are trying to do different things.
I agree.
It's never gonna work out. Like just hit him in the waist. Like yeah. I would love to just hit a guy in the waist every time and then, you know, have a nice clean tackle and then things can, you know, we can go on our merry way. But sometimes the best way is for me to just fucking take him out by the knees.
I understand, but if you're a guy that already has a reputation to be that kind of player and you continue to do it, that's something different because he is. And look, what?
Wah. Bro, I'm making
He gets paid millions of
I'm
dollars
making
to
a
fucking
play.
not hit people.
I'm making
under the leg.
No, he
Making a
doesn't.
play, but-
he gets paid millions of dollars to make fucking plays. And if I got to take him down by the knees and make a play, I got to take him down
The
by the
same
knees and
people
make a
said
play.
the same shit about the Saints in 2009 when they were in the Bounty Gate situation.
Fucking A, man. That's fucking that's how fucking football is supposed to be played. It's fucking
And people's careers every play.
It's
people's careers every play. That's how you do it.
It is
For all kids
football-
watching.
The best quote about football: it's not a contact sport. Oh fucking! What did Lombardi say? It's not.
He doesn't even know the fucking
It's
quote.
not. But like,
And he played football before I have.
fucking. But like, people
He's
say
trying to do
that-
Kurt Russell. It's 20% physical, 80% mental.
It is though, but it's just like you're sitting there, just like
100% reason
you're
to
talking
remember
about
the
a
name.
very violent sport, and just being like, well, why can't we make this? Why can't it be softer? Or it's just like it's just
not about making it softer, but
it's
it's
just
about-
not how the game is played. The game is supposed to be like more physical than any sport. That's why they only play 16, 17 games because the physicality of that sport is just off the charts. And it's just like, you know what, guys are gonna get hurt. It's what you signed up for. It's why their
I don't
career.
think you see all
their
the
career
guys who are getting hit
expectancies-
always complaining about it. They know. You've seen it with Josh Allen. He's talked about getting hit, all these things. Like, I know what I signed up for. Like,
Okay, Josh, Flop City Josh Allen. I don't want to hear it out of him.
Burke's been tight about him ever since his fake
Yeah,
slide.
that fake slide where
Fucking
fucking.
set him
The
off.
Steelers one?
If that
Set
was,
him off.
rough.
because if
That
that
was
was
rough.
prime, if there was
That was
prime
that was
Troy,
blatantly. He was a total fake slide. Bills fans are on Twitter trying to defend it.
fucking
That
Troy,
was
Troy
fake as
Polamalu in
bits.
his prime is ending his fucking career. I don't want to hear it. It's just like we're talking dirty player, dirty hit.
Troy Polamalu wouldn't hit people in the knees like that, though.
Yeah,
hit
my
him in the
ass.
head.
Troy Polamalu would have. You see a guy coming up for a catch like this. Troy Polamalu was hitting you square in that fucking knee and turning you upside down. It's just I'm tired of this fucking nonsense of trying to soften up football. We've been playing flag football in 10 years before you know it's
Well, they're
fucking.
gonna play that in the Olympics, so you're one step closer.
I know it's sad.
Let's talk
it's
about the
sad.
lines, actually. I think the first thing is, like, we talked about this last week, me and Tom. I even clipped it up, but it's like Jared Goff, like, once again, just like proving everyone wrong. I mean, there was a quote on one of Cam Newton's podcasts. He was like, they basically sent him to Detroit to die, like for his career to die. Like, he was not expected to have any success there.
Yeah.
They sent him to Detroit. That team could barely win a game his first year. And the fact that him and Dan Campbell and everyone in that organization was able to build this team to one win away from a Super Bowl. They got their first home playoff game in 30-plus years. They got their first playoff win in 25, 30 years also.
Since
30,
92.
Since 92. It's 23 now, so whatever. 30.
23
31
plus
years.
8, 31.
Quick math.
But everything about what Jared Goff's doing, I mean, you just got to give him credit. I feel like even now, it's like time and time again, you'll see clips, people are like, the one weakness the Lions have is Jared Goff at quarterback, all this stuff. But every week, he kind of just goes out there, he proves everyone wrong week in, week out. And they in my opinion, they have a good chance at beating the Niners. Do I think they're favorites? No. Would I pick them?
No.
Probably not, but they have
they
a
have-
chance to beat. They have a chance to beat that team.
What's the,
Especially if Debo
I was just about to look
is-
that up.
the spread for?
It's got to be like
they're-
5.5.
They're a 7-point favorite currently.
Really?
Yeah, currently they're 7. I mean,
The Niners?
Yeah, the Niners, and then the Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite. So I mean, 7 points though. I think that's a little high. I would like
That's
that.
why I said
I
5.5.
would like a
I would
5.5 line out of that. I would probably be more inclined to take the Niners at a 5.5, 4.5 kind of line.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the difference between 5.5, 4.5, you don't really ever see that. So
Well, did they already? I mean, I think a line would change depending on if Debo is 100%.
If Debo plays and stuff like that, I think there's a few things. But I mean, just a big credit not only Josh Allen but just Jared Goff. Is just the coaching that Dan Campbell surrounds him with. I mean, his OC and his DC are going to be head coaches next year, just because.
Who's their DC? Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn, Jet Legend.
Aaron Glenn.
Jet Legend.
Yeah. And their OC is Joe Lombardi.
I forget what his name is. I can't remember what his name is.
Look it up.
But both of them are going to end up being head coaches next year, and I'm sure, a lot of that, is just given credit for just how good they've been this year. It's just the coaching has just been outstanding for them. Dan Campbell just really surrounding himself with a good staff.
Yeah. What's it?
It's Ben Johnson.
Another clip I saw from it was like the same
Bend
clip.
over.
The same clip was from this Cam Newton podcast, and he was talking about. He said if every time Dan Campbell walked through a metal detector, it goes off because he's got balls of fucking steel. he said he goes for it on every fourth down. It doesn't matter, bro. He did it this week again. It's like, bro, fourth down, like you could easily take the field goal and take the lead. He's like, fuck that.
He said,
I am going for it, and it's worked every single time in the playoffs.
They showed since like 2021. I guess that might have been must have been his first year. They've gone for it on fourth down like 120 times,
and
it's like by
like 70%.
Yeah, it's like by far the most in the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're saying, it's like that's actually probably the first thing that's ever come out of Cam Newton's mouth that I like is that fucking Dan Campbell. He does have balls of steel, but it goes back to what we were saying last week. It's like he's not like, to me, he's not an X's and O's guy. He's like guys
motivational guy.
Yeah, where coaches with his heart on his sleeve. He's probably like that as a player and stuff like that. So it's like guys just want to play for him, and they just they give that little extra just because it's like he can just he can really motivate you to kind of just be that one step better.
Yeah.
I think I saw a tweet about this. I forgot who it was. It might have been Albert Breer, but he was talking about how it may be a sign to teams nowadays that maybe the X's and O's guys are better off being coordinators as opposed to being head coaches.
Yeah.
Because if you look at guys who were trying to be X's and O's guys and they were offensive-minded people and they tried being head coaches and it doesn't really work out. I mean, Nick Sirianni, good offensive coordinator, not really the greatest head coach. Same thing with Cliff Kingsbury. X's and O's guy, can't really do it as a head coach, goes to college, becomes an OC again, and he's really proven it to really matter.
Right.
Mike McCarthy, X's and O's guy, not a good head coach at all. He was able to do it with Aaron Rodgers, but the offense is always consistent.
I mean, the team is pretty consistent.
The team is pretty consistent, but the offense has always been his offenses have always been
Dak
top
is
one.
fucking hot garbage in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, but that's the thing. Offenses get you through the season. Teams get you through the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think teams get you through the playoffs. People say defense, but teams.
Dak has had his best years under McCarthy. He's also much more mature and stuff. But he's had his between him and Jason Garrett. I mean, he's just been a lot better under Mike McCarthy. Like adding to what you're saying is like the guys that are just really all about the schemes
Mike
and X's and O. I mean.
The offense looks great, but when it comes,
he's a pretty good coach though.
He's a pretty good coach, but the thing is, the offense looks gret when they go up against any other team that's a 500 or better team, and
Tom,
especially in the playoffs.
Oh, it's a guy from work.
Mike McDaniel.
I think probably the only guy you could probably say is maybe like Belichick, but I mean I don't even know because it's just like Belichick had, what's his name for a lot of those Super Bowl runs, McDaniels. Or it's just like
Josh McDaniels, but he was the OC the entire time.
I'm saying McDaniels is running the offense, and Belichick doesn't really run the offense; he runs the defense.
Right, but he's always been a defensive guy. But that's the thing; he's an outlier. Tom Coughlin, he was really a special
feel
team
like, yeah.
/ defensive guy.
I feel like like kind of just guys just love to play for these kind of guys. Even maybe like a Mike Tomlin, like guys just like they just want to play for a guy like Mike Tomlin.
The
Bobby
one
Saleh. If anything, he's got to fit that group. Because
look, he's
as
a
far as
motivation.
X's and O's, I don't think he's a great coach, but.
He's a
One
motivational
thing
guy.
is
Jeff Ulbrich
he
has
has
really stepped
that
up.
team play. The Jets play for.
He was
Saleh.
a really good DC in San Fran.
He was 100%.
But he can't.
I mean, they're continuing to just run his system over there in San Fran right now. It's continuing to work. It's the same thing. The Jets completely changed their defensive scheme from when Saleh came over, and everything has just changed. Granted, Ulbrich does a great job too, but I mean, that defense runs through Saleh. Yeah.
The biggest outlier, especially over the last 10 years, is Andy Reid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, probably like
that dude's he might pass Belichick as the GOAT coach. He's got I was actually listening to this a few months back. Bro,
2.
He might win this year. He could win next year. Well, we don't know what's going to happen next year. They're going to improve that offense.
He wins this year. He still needs 4 more.
But he's got the best, arguably the best, most talented quarterback of all time in his prime.
Is he going to win? You think Pat Mahomes?
If you
think Pat Mahomes is going to win 7?
Did you think Brady was going to win 7?
At a certain point, yeah. It got to a point where it was like, yeah.
Bro, these past 2 years,
my man's was in 10 total Super Bowls.
These past 2
years,
think about it. We wrote
3 of them. In 3 of them, he wasn't really Brady.
I understand that, but it's just like
we wrote Pat Mahomes off after Tyreek Hill left last year. What they do?
Who
the
did?
Super Bowl. People were writing them off. They were saying, "Don't act like nobody was writing the Chiefs off."
You
People were writing the Chiefs off. People were writing the Chiefs off.
Who writing Pat Mahomes off?
After they lost Tyreek Hill, they didn't have the talent. This year,
Stop it.
they really don't have the talent. They got nobody. These guys are bums. These wide receivers are bums. Kelsey's falling off. What happens? He goes and he upsets fucking the Bills again in their house. Yes, they won the Super Bowl last year.
I'm sitting there just being like,
I said this after
they won it last year.
They won it last year.
They won it last year. They won it last year.
You're sitting there just like, oh, people were writing them off.
No, the year before that.
The year before when they lost to the Bucs and Tyreek Hill left.
And then Tyreek Hill left.
That's what I said.
People were writing them off. You can't say that they weren't.
I need the receipts, man.
Oh my God.
I think you're talking about the Colin Cowards of the world and the
maybe people weren't like, this team's going to be
Smiths.
terrible, but no one had them in the Super Bowl. Like, they were not in the real conversation for the Super Bowl.
Like you said it earlier.
That's the thing.
The man is possibly the most talented quarterback to ever play the game.
At this point, I think he is the most talented quarterback of all time.
I agree with
He
that.
beat the Eagles last year on one ankle in the Super Bowl. Bro could barely walk.
Right, but Burke, you got to think about it. Going into that, we hadn't seen how he was without Tyreek Hill yet. We knew he still had Travis Kelce, yeah, but we didn't know if he was going to be that guy.
I think writing him off
People,
is
like people were writing Patrick Mahomes.
That's what you were just
saying.
saying.
The team off.
But like saying that, like
I didn't mean they were like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is gonna be washed. I meant like the Chiefs don't have it this year. I think Mahomes. No one was writing him off.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's trying to get at.
But like you guys were just saying, they were writing Pat Mahomes. I was like, who? That's why
I meant the Chiefs.
Well, like then say the Chiefs, dickhead. Like what do you want me to say? Like I'm sitting here.
We got Captain Literal over here.
Well, I'm sorry, but when you sit there and you say they're writing Pat Mahomes off, that's why I'm just like, who is saying
they were writing them off? Like I didn't.
No, you didn't. You said they were writing Pat. That's why I'm just like. That's why I was like, who's writing Pat Mahomes off?
No, I didn't mean that. I meant they were writing the Chiefs off.
You literally had to change the word Pat Mahomes to Chiefs, and we were like, okay, I get what you're.
I'm gonna have to go back in the clip and see what I said.
But you change, like, bro, that changes the entire conversation just by saying.
Sam knew what I was talking about.
Bro, but like, then say that.
I was also there when we were talking about it. So
it's just like, bro, like, say that. Like, said that. Yeah, they didn't
say that.
They didn't.
After I called Pat Mahomes like the most talented quarterback ever, I'm like, we will write them all.
You just said, but like, tell me, like, how are you gonna say it? It was like you just said it was like people were writing off Pat Mahomes.
I meant the Chiefs.
That's why I was like,
Pat Mahomes.
Writing off Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's fucking coincided.
Fucking say that.
Obviously, no one's writing Patrick Mahomes off.
You guys missed an ornament down there on the tree.
Oh shit. He's like
They also missed taking this whole fucking thing down.
And that fucking thing, they got the wreath up still. Fucking.
Bro, if you throw that thing, it just all falls off.
It's a real tree. Why would you get a real tree?
You gotta be careful with that, bro.
He only does real trees.
Real trees only.
Real trees only. When's the last time you guys watered that? Christmas Day?
Yo,
It was
you want to talk about You want to talk about absolute
Until
scam,
January.
just like Christmas
It's January
tree farms,
22nd,
bro.
my guy. You guys better be careful with that thing.
Trees, I love a real Christmas tree. These don't even smell like Christmas trees anymore. The candles smell
It's
more
going out
like
on
it.
Wednesday.
The fake trees.
Take it out now.
Bro, the fake tree, you put it up,
But-
you take it down, so easy.
What I was saying, how we got into this
Yeah,
argument.
my thing unscrews in the middle. It's two halves. You just put it on top of one another. That's it.
The lights are perfectly set up every time. You don't have to go behind
It's
it.
so nice.
Andy Reid, bro, he has a chance with Mahomes if they can. I'm not saying they're gonna pull it off this year, although they're in the Final Four, they could.
Yeah,
But
I like saying
he could pass. He could take the all-time wins record. If Belichick, we don't know
Where's
where
he
Belichick's
at? Where's
gonna
he
end
at
up.
on that?
He's close. He's not that close.
I
But
mean,
he's
Belichick
close
isn't
enough
even
with
number
Patrick
one yet.
Mahomes. If he didn't have Patrick Mahomes, it'd be no. He can never catch them. But he has a chance.
if
he could.
If
He could have the
Belichick,
most all-time
Belichick
wins.
didn't have Tom Brady, he wouldn't have 7 fucking Super Bowls.
course.
But I mean, he did.
But Andy Reid, there's no debate at this point. Like, this dude is he is a top
I'm not saying, yeah, of
5
course.
coach of all time.
I think it's him and Belichick are the top 2 of all time.
Yeah.
But like to overtake Belichick, you got to come close on the Super Bowls. You can't say you can't be 4 away. Brady did 4 after he was like 30.
How old's Mahomes?
Damn. He's still 70 wins away. So he needs to have he needs to coach for another 7 years and average 10 wins a year just to tie Don Shula.
Just
Don
the
Shula.
time.
That's a lot of. How many wins does he have?
328.
That's a lot of fucking.
That's Andy Reid or that's Don Shula?
No, that's Schuler. Andy Reid is
That's a lot of-
258.
a lot of
How many does
fucking
Belichick
wins.
have?
Belichick is 302.
So how many is he behind in the first place? I forgot what the first place. He's
Belichick?
26 wins behind.
Belichick is 26 behind, yeah.
Depends where he goes. How old is Belichick?
He's in his 70s.
Bill Belichick currently is.
That's why he had to get the hell
He'll
out
be
of
he'll be
New
72
England.
when next season starts.
72, yeah.
Andy Reid is going to be.
Andy Reid's in his late 60s, I think.
He'll be 66 by the time the next
26
season
wins.
starts.
You basically say he's got to coach
So Andy
3
Reid.
more seasons and have a good team, pretty much.
to catch Don Shula.
Wow.
But he needs 26 wins.
Yeah, but
well, he needs 27 wins to pass him.
that's a longevity thing, you know. Where
Yeah,
it's-
Don Shula coached for 32 years.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's only been coaching for 24. So another 8
What was
seasons.
his first team was with the Eagles.
Andy Reid in 1999, he was the head coach for the Eagles from 99 to
let's say the
2012.
Chiefs average 12 wins for the next five years. How many wins is that?
And wait, what?
Let's say they'll probably average 12 for the next 5 years.
Oh well, that's 70 wins, and he'd be tied.
60 wins.
60, yeah.
12 times 5.
Well, yeah,
No,
60.
Tom's right.
Guys,
yeah.
quick math.
Quick math.
Who says they don't teach you nothing at the grid?
Fucking sitting here and just being like, I'm getting fucking yelled at for being an idiot. You can't do 12 times 5. Fucking out of here.
Is there any team we haven't talked
No
about
college
that's going to
degree.
the Super Bowl?
I mean, we kind of only like grazed over the Lions, really.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about Dan Campbell and Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Well, this is one thing I wanted to say.
Back to the. I
want to say about the Lions. You want to go
With
first?
the legacy thing.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
that
when are
where
you
you
guys
go, like,
talking?
You go legacy. You go legacy.
Oh, because that's where I thought you were gonna go
No,
with.
I'm done with you. You can talk.
All right, I was just gonna go like if we were talking, you know, Lamar legacy, you know, the Jared Goff legacy, or it's like we were talking earlier, you know, number 1 pick. People were writing him off.
Yes, he was.
Well,
actually,
his own team.
he didn't
did.
write back.
He didn't.
He didn't write back.
He most certainly wrote back. He just fucking booted them out of the playoffs.
Who?
Jared
The
Goff.
Rams.
Oh,
booted
no,
him out.
but I'm saying like Jared. That's the line from Geno Smith. He's like, they wrote me off. I didn't write back.
Fuck Geno Smith. We're talking Geno like
That's
I got.
the quote.
I'm saying we're talking about guys pulling out Geno Smith quotes like I got him on lock in my head over here. Come on, it's not like we're quoting Step
They
Brothers
wrote,
over
they
here.
wrote me
We're
off. I
quoting-
didn't write back.
Fucking A. But
Classic, yo.
gotta be kidding me.
All right, go. Keep-
But so wrote him off. You know, they shipped him out of LA because they were like, well, you know, you got us to the Super Bowl and we appreciate it, but we really think it was everybody else. You know, you were just kind of along for the ride. You couldn't get us over the hump, you know. And then Stafford does get them over the hump. So it kind of looks like, I mean, it pans out for the Rams. But I mean, now it's looking like the Lions, you know, are getting their own kind of like pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, where it's just like they didn't really feel like people were like, oh, like what was the point of this trade? What are you doing with Goff? You know, why are you even trading for him? You're trading You're trading away Matt Stafford, who's way more talented, for Jared Goff.
Well, I think the trade wasn't more. It was more so. Look, this team isn't going anywhere. We're a pretty bad team. Let's give Matt Stafford a chance at a ring. Let's take on Jared Goff, get that contract on our books, and get a pick to go on top of it.
Like, if you're a Lions fan yourself, it's just like, well, why are we trading away our guy that we've been ride or die for so long? It's like, why don't we just build a team around him? Why we got to ship him off to
They tried and they sucked at drafting.
Yeah, well, that's what
Jahabit Best, Joik Bell, Jeff Okuda.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just years and years and years of terrible. Megatron leaves you. Eric Ebron sucks.
What changed from that until lately, where it's like they've been drafting guys like the Amon-Ra's, the Jahmyr Gibbses, the Sam Laportas,
Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell,
Aiden Hutchinson. They've hit. That's the thing.
It's just like, but now you're hitting. It's just like, well, why couldn't you hit when you had Stafford?
Well, do they have a different front office? Do they have a different GM?
I'm sure everything is
operations?
different, but that's what I'm saying. Like, as a Lions fan, I'm like, why couldn't we keep Stafford around and just be like, all right, like let him ride out his Lions legacy? Where it's just like, now, like,
because
the Lions
they knew
might
he would never
chance.
have had a chance at a ring with the way that the team is constructed and the consistent level of mediocrity.
I'm just going at it from like a fan standpoint, where it's just like, you've invested so much into Stafford, where it's just like, just let him suffer. Fuck it.
Just let him suffer with me.
Just let him suffer.
I also think like what Sam was kind of saying though is like, I think the Lions received Goff in that trade. I don't think when they made that trade, I do not think that the Lions thought
they took it
that
as
he
a
was part of
salary
their
dump
future.
and to add a pick.
No.
That was it. They took it as a salary
They did not
dump.
think the Lions did not think that Jared Goff.
Did they get any draft picks out of that?
Of course, they got draft picks.
I'm saying like good quality. Like, who do those draft picks turn out
They
to
might
be?
have
Is what I'm
gotten
saying.
first round pick.
I mean, because the Rams were just shelling out draft picks
Yeah,
all day long to build.
And that's what we talked about last week, which was why.
So
it's
this
so
is
impressive that
it.
they
So
came back.
the Lions received Jared Goff, a third-round pick in 2021, a first-round pick in 2022, and 2023. So they got 2 first-round picks and a third.
Do we know what those picks were?
2022 might have been Hutchinson.
Nah,
Could have possibly
that was
been him.
he was the second pick.
No, because that would
would've
have
got
been
that
too
from the
high.
Rams.
That was their pick when they went
That was
0 and
their
12
pick?
for like the first.
Who do those picks turn out to be?
So the first draft pick to convey LA to they used it on the third round pick in 2021 was 101 overall defensive back Ifedi. I'm not even going to try and say his last name. He's out of Syracuse, but he clearly isn't in the league anymore.
Can't all be home runs.
All right, so then the next draft. So they used the Rams' first-round pick, the 32nd overall, because that was when they won the Super Bowl, and his own picks in the second and third rounds, 34 and 66, to move up and select Jameson Williams out of Alabama for the number 12th overall pick. They also received the number 46 pick in that round and drafted Josh Pascal, who's a defensive end. Okay. So miss. 2023 draft, the Rams had a bad season, ended up with the 6th pick. And they drafted Jahmyr. They traded back after that and ended up getting Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta.
Because Sam Laporta was a Rams pick.
Technically, Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta?
They had the 6th round pick. They had the 6th overall pick, and they traded back with the Arizona Cardinals.
And got 2 first rounders.
No, and got it. Sam Laporta's a third rounder.
Sam Laporta's a third rounder.
Or no, they got a third rounder.
Was that 6th from Detroit or was it from the Rams?
The 6th overall pick was the Rams pick.
Okay.
They traded back
So
with
they
the
turned
Arizona
that
Cardinals.
So they turned it into Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta.
So
Yeah.
that's where it comes into. Is like we got to give credit to the Lions front office, because even as much as they struggled in the past, they drafted Penei Sewell, they drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, they drafted Aiden Hutchinson. They took the risk this year and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, who a lot of people had question marks because taking a running back at, I believe, 9 or 12. When they took him, you never know. And then to get Sam Laporta in the 3rd round, and then on top of that,
they got him in the 1st round.
Sam Laporta?
He was a first. Sam Laporta was the Detroit Lions' actual pick. The pick that they used on Jahmyr Gibbs was the Arizona Cardinals pick that they traded back with.
So Sam Laporta was first round.
Yeah, they
got a third 2 seconds ago.
I know, because I meant to say they got a 3rd rounder on top of the trade back.
Oh.
Yeah,
but also, and then to have the idea to bring in David Montgomery, and then they've got David Montgomery over 1,000 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs is like 950. David Montgomery had 13 touchdowns. Jameer Gibbs had 10 this year.
Well,
Well,
I mean, it's
David
also
Montgomery
23
came in.
touchdowns just rushing.
David Montgomery came in because DeAndre Swift had left. DeAndre Swift only went to Philadelphia because Miles Sanders left to go to Carolina. And
Moron.
Carolina's running back, I forgot who it was.
Chuba?
Chuba. It was basically Chuba.
Well, that's who they used this year.
That's who they used this year. But who is the running back for the Bears this year? Outside of Khalil Herbert, because that guy used to be in.
Deonta Foreman?
Yeah, he was in Carolina last year.
Yeah.
So it was a whole carousel of mid-tier running backs switching teams.
Just absolute mid-off of running back.
Mid trading fucking homes.
But it worked out so well for the Lions because Montgomery was that really good power back, and then you've got the finesse of Jameer Gibbs,
Which is
I think
weird
next year he's a top 5 running back
Montgomery in
football.
Chicago was a pass catcher.
Yeah.
No,
Jameer
Montgomery.
Gibbs,
Montgomery
he's
was
very
was their
elite,
main
bro.
guy. They used Khalil Herbert as the pass
I
catcher.
thought he was their third down.
They did throw it to him,
I thought he was.
They
like,
did
he was
throw
like
it to him. He
because
wasn't. He didn't have a main
He wasn't
role.
like a. They weren't like a good running team.
They weren't, but the thing is that when he came into the league, when he was a rookie, he had a wild beginning. He had I think he had just over 1,000 yards. It was kind of like the same situation with James Robinson, where he kind of fell into their lap for the Jaguars and had a random 1,000-yard season as a rookie.
Another loser.
James Robinson?
Another loser the Jets signed.
Yeah.
Traded for.
Speaking of losers at the Jets signed, Ty Johnson, guy was just eating the
Yeah,
Kansas
he
City
was
defensive
running
line
really well.
alive, and then they stopped running the
really
football.
well.
Yeah. Should we talk a little, maybe quick Bills, and then just do our picks for next week?
What are we talking about the Bills? Is
I wanted to
Stephon
talk
Diggs
about
sucks?
the Josh Allen thing. I feel like that's one of the bigger storylines of the weekend.
All right, go.
Bills lost again.
But that's my point. What's the story?
I got you.
They consistently lose to this team.
Yeah,
They try to have a
Phillip Rivers 2.0.
Philip Rivers 2.0. They can't get past Brady and the Patriots. Now it's Mahomes and the Chiefs. They
Well, let's
constantly
talk about
try to
this.
have shootouts with them. That doesn't work out.
This stat line that he's about to
This
read
stat
off though
line,
is
I just wanna
insane.
All right. So we got Josh Allen in his first 10 career playoff starts. He's got a 64.6% completion rating. Jesus Christ. I fucked that up.
What?
I'm just going to restart it.
Let me read it.
Josh Allen in his first 10 playoff starts. He's got a 65% completion rate. He's thrown for 2,700 yards passing. He's rushed for 563 yards. He's thrown. He's got 16 receiving yards. He's got 27 total touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And with that, it threw me off like crazy. I was like, wait, what the fuck? The Bills are 5-5 in those 10 starts with no Super Bowl appearances. And I believe the last 3 years they've been bounced by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, this is really kind of becoming the Brady versus Phillip Rivers rivalry because
that's
Josh Allen and the Bills, they never win.
That Stephon Diggs picture is like turning into a meme. Where it's just
Yeah.
like he's been standing there for 3 years now, just watching the Chiefs. Actually, it's 4 now.
I think it's 4.
Because his last year in Minnesota they lost. He that was like when he first did. He was like standing there, just like I'll be back, and then he went to Buffalo. And it was just like bro's been standing here waiting to get to the Super Bowl for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It was
and
just
I
like,
mean-
dude, like enough with these corny pictures too. Like so many people keep
Someone
doing
said
that.
he started a trend that was like you could
But,
see like all these guys are like
all these
watching
other,
him
yeah,
now.
like all
But
these
at
other
the same
people
time,
doing
it's
it. I'm
like,
like, stop.
Maybe some of these guys are actually just doing it and not thinking of the photo. Like if you're a division like
There's also
if you're a low Division One,
700
Why-
photographers on the
why
field
are
at
you,
every
like,
game.
why are you standing there for 10 minutes after the game just watching the other team celebrate? Go in the fucking locker room. What's wrong with you?
but yeah, at this point, bro,
Be a
it's
man.
like
Literally.
I
Go
think
drink yourself into a coma and beat your wife. Be a man.
Cancun on 3. 1, 2.
I think that they gotta move on.
Go
from,
beat your wife. All right, Ray Rice.
They need. I actually saw people were saying there's rumors that Bill Belichick was going to go to Buffalo, which would be fucking insane.
I don't think they get rid of McDermott.
I
though.
mean, he already had 2 interviews with the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's wild that he decided that might be the place
do you
to
think
go.
Buffalo moves on from McDermott? I don't think so.
I don't think
it might
he's
be
the
time
problem.
to.
I don't think he's the problem.
But that's the way coaching goes. It's like once you can't get over the hump, they always move on from the coaching. I don't know if they necessarily need to, but I feel like they're going to.
But they did. They fired their coach midseason.
Yeah.
He's an interim.
But at the end of the day,
What
is Sean McDermott in charge of the defense? Is he a defensive coach?
No, I thought Leslie Frazier still the defensive coordinator there?
Because their defense just, I understand Matt Milano went out. They lost another
because that guy,
cornerback.
that guy,
Trey White.
They lost Trey
He-
White.
Yeah, he gets injured every year, so I don't even think it fucking
And their
matters
luck
anymore.
has just been terrible with the defense.
DeMar Hamlin.
But every year, their defense comes up short and cannot fucking stop Patrick Mahomes. He owns their defense. Josh Allen always shows up when he plays Patrick Mahomes. But that defense, they got no fucking answers for Patrick Mahomes and whoever the fuck
But the
he's
thing
playing
is that they have so much talent on that defense between that whole line of
Jordan Poyer.
Well, start with the defensive line.
Rachel
Von
Bush.
Miller, Deshaun Phillips, Gregory Rousseau. Then you go to the second level with Matt Milano, like you said. Taron Johnson is their nickel back. Trey White, DeMar Hamlin, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde.
Who'd they trade for? The cornerback from the Packers? Did they trade?
No, Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde?
Yeah, but that was years ago. But
They traded for someone this year.
Is it not McDermott? McDermott was the one that got fired mid-year. Or he's the one that took
No.
over mid-year.
McDermott is the head coach. He's been the
head coach for like the last 4 years. They fired their
Oh,
offensive
they
coordinator.
fired the OC. Oh, okay. I was just like,
No. Yeah, no, they fired the OC.
I don't know why I thought they fired the head coach and then the OC stepped in.
Nah.
Nah, that's somebody. That's got to be a different team.
Okay, so they just fired the.
McDermott's been there.
That
for
was
a
that
while.
was the Raiders. They fired Josh McDaniels and then
DC,
and then what's his name?
stepped in.
Antonio Pierce, yeah. And the same thing with the Chargers.
I don't really know what the Bills' next move is.
All I know is
We talked last week. We were saying that they should get Mike Evans in the building.
Well,
Mike
they're
Evans and
they're in
Stephon
a
Diggs.
they're in a rough cap situation next year.
'Cause isn't Josh Allen a $47 million cap hit?
Yeah, he's a wild cap hit. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis needs to be re-signed. They got to restructure Von
he
Miller.
does not.
What are you going to do?
They can't re-sign Gabe Davis.
Von Miller's got to go.
Von Miller can't go because then you're going to be in a shit ton of. He's going to be a huge cap casualty. You're going to still have to pay him
He's a
tens
big-
of millions
he's a
of
big
dollars
dead
to
space
not
guy.
play.
I don't even know. I don't. When it comes to the numbers, I never really like looked into any of that stuff. It's just like guys like Von Miller, like you gotta. He's got to go. He's just wasting space on your team. Gabe Davis got to go. He sucks.
Well, he's a free agent.
And so it's like I wouldn't waste time with him. You got to get another guy across from Stephon Diggs because the having Kincaid and Knox is really good. Cook's really good. I mean, anybody that thinks Stephon Diggs is the problem is a moron. I mean, it's just like when you're number
People
two,
were ripping him for dropping that pass.
I
He
get
dropped
it,
the
but
dot.
it's just like, dude, like when your number two receiver is Khalil Shakir or whatever, it's like, come on. Like,
Remember that stat that I said before, though?
what?
Diggs had twice for the last 5 weeks of the season. Diggs had twice the amount of targets and had 20 less yards than Shakir. That's a problem.
I mean,
Diggs, he
I don't think Diggs is the problem, but that's not good.
he did not.
You got to look into like Shakir. Shakir is a big boomer bust guy. It's just like he'll get like a.
But he's a
70.
perfect number 3,
Right, that's what I'm saying. But like he can't be your number two.
which is why they're talking about re-signing Gabe Davis. The
Davis fucking trash.
the offense isn't the problem though.
It's the defense. 100%.
It's
I
not,
agree.
but the defense.
It's not.
Also,
I don't think the defense is a problem either. I
So
think
what's the problem? The,
the play-
defense
the
and the
play-
offense.
the play
the
calling.
problem is Mahomes is too fucking good.
no, it's
That's the problem.
fine, but
That's actually so true.
the thing is that the
he's
the thing is that the both teams are going back and forth. I was talking to my friend who's a Buffalo fan,
really does
and we
own them,
both
bro.
agreed that the play calling was the biggest problem. They were running the football down the Chiefs' throat the entire game, and then they finally start going away from it. Whatever might have fucking happened, James Cook and Ty Johnson were running the fucking football
Very well.
perfectly fine the entire game, and then for some reason you're only down 3 points. They start throwing the football like they're in a shootout. You have the ball with 6 minutes left. Why are you throwing the football
that's all
down the
but
field?
But like,
Too,
yeah,
which is the
they
weirdest
were
thing.
throwing those bombs down the field
For
I'm like,
no reason.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, fucking, we got to start like having some sort of like real aerial attack here. It's just- all of a sudden, I'm just watching Josh Allen. He's doing the
Josh Allen gets
he's
immediate-
He's doing that Brett Favre. You know, he's going to throw an interception because that his arm
He's cocked
he
all
just
the way
cocks
back.
all the way back, and he's like, oh,
The
pick,
ball's touching
pick.
the floor, and he's ready to just launch it 75 yards into the turf on the other end of the field.
Or or it's either that or he's 5 yards away from James Cook and he throws an absolute 95-mile-an-hour piss missile right at his fucking chest. He did that twice. He did it to Cook and he did it to somebody else in the end zone. And I watched this man just straight up crow hop from the pocket. I'm like, what is he doing? And he just bullets a ball into his receiver's chest and just fucking bounce right off. I was just like, dude, ease up.
Relax.
all those deep throws, and I still couldn't hit 200 plus passing yards. Josh Allen.
Facts. Oh,
Just
what
doesn't
a
make any sense.
fucking A.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the biggest problem with that team is the play calling.
I mean,
Yeah,
they got
a lot.
They're in a situation where they're trying to have a shootout with the team who's the best shootout offense in the entire league, but they were in a game that didn't require a shootout. It wasn't like how it wasn't back in 2022. They didn't need to go touchdown for a 3-minute stretch.
I agree with you on that. Where it's just like what changed, and all of a sudden, like you were 6-0 up until that point. Everything, the game plans were working well. The offense was fucking rolling. Josh Allen was doing everything he needed to do, and there's just like you get late into a game, and you finally start like it's like they start panicking almost. It's just like we don't know what to do now. Like
because Mahomes went down the field in like 6 plays, and they scored a touchdown.
That was insane. It was like
so they were like, "Shit, now we got to do that." But they got complete tunnel vision. All they did was look at the end zone.
You're trying to do it in one. You're trying to do it in one play. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, you have, like you were saying, there was plenty of time. It's just like, what happened in the play calling and the decision making? It's just like that even comes in as like, all right, McDermott's a defensive guy, but like even as a defensive guy, where it's just like, hey, what are we doing here? Like, why are we doing deep bombs with 6 minutes left?
And like you said though, they outside of Diggs, they don't have the personnel for that. Like they don't have a big wide receiver, kind of like a Mike Evans or a DK.
But Diggs is supposed to be that guy. He's supposed
to be. And
he's sold at the end.
Even Gabe Davis went healthy, but like Gabe Davis is like he's the big boom or bust. Like you throw a big bomb to him or like a nice 50-50 ball, and he's supposed to come down with it.
But the Chiefs have had quietly one of the better secondaries in all the league. L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie.
I mean,
I don't understand how the hell Trent McDuffie is this all-pro slot corner when Michael Carter is number one in every metric.
Statistic, yeah.
Every statistic, he's number one, but somehow Trent McDuffie's over him.
You saw that interview, or not interview, but like, what was it, like First Take or whatever, Maurice Jones-Drew? They're like, oh, you think they could ride the D?
He stops and he looks at him. He's like, defense.
he was like, really? He was like, ride the defense? He's like, thank you. It's just like, yo. Just hits him with the, you think they can ride the D out? And he's just like, come on, son.
All right. Do you guys want to wrap it up with our picks?
Some quick picks.
Yeah.
I got Niners, Ravens. Yeah.
Are we going money? Are we going just in general money line or spread?
Yeah. Let's.
Someone wants to bring up the spread.
Let's go gambling because I'm down
Degenerates.
$1,000. I'm down $1,000 in my FanDuel career, so everybody should take.
I just got back from Aruba, down $400 from the casino there.
I was looking at my career statistics on FanDuel. I'm in negative 1,000.
And you won a $500 bet last
Yeah, in like 2 weeks. Yeah, now 2 weeks ago, I won a $500 bet.
I actually deleted FanDuel after I saw them tweet out if the Chiefs end up winning a Super Bowl, should Taylor Swift get a ring?
I saw that, but I can't get behind DraftKings. They just don't have the
interface.
The props that
the
FanDuel
interface
has.
is terrible too.
So
I don't
bad.
like it.
Yeah,
But,
I don't like it either.
All right, so game one I think is Chiefs Ravens. I think that's
Sure.
the first game. Spread
3.5
was
or
3.5 to the Ravens. Honestly, I'd take the 3.5.
I'm taking Ravens all the way, 3.5 and money
I'll
line.
I'll take the points with the 3.5. I think they came out in that second half and were on fire. I think they looked a lot sharper, all around. The Chiefs, they looked good, but I think they kind of, I don't know I think they'll struggle a little bit more against this Baltimore defense.
Especially now. And also, we didn't even mention, that was Mahomes' first road playoff game.
Yeah,
and it came down to his defense having to step up and the Bills choking it away. Now he's going to have to do it against an even better defense and an offense that doesn't rely on their quarterback having to throw the football down the field. They can just consistently run and do what they need to do.
We saw kind of this past week with Lamar. I think he just takes off running as much as he possibly can this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs for 100+ yards this week.
I mean, like you were saying, like early in the game, like Buffalo was running really well. It's just like if the Ravens can kind of look to that and just be like, all right, if we can kind
just do what they've been doing all year.
If we can just continue our run game and really just kind of harp in on that, and then when Lamar needs to, just kind of pick them off. I think they walk away with a nice 7 to 10 point victory.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Niners Lions at 6:30, 7-point favorite. The Niners. I think 7's high. I think 7's high for such a high-powered, Lions offense.
Score. Their defense is underrated too. It's not great, but they have a solid defense.
I think they're hovering around the top 10, or if not a top 10 defense.
To be honest, I think the biggest thing is that because it's a road game, and Detroit probably is going to travel well, considering this is their first NFC Championship game in
Yeah.
30 years. But I don't know, man. That the 7 does seem high. I feel like I would still take it just because it's
It's a big spread for an NFC Championship game, you know.
It is. But we've seen the Niners all year obliterate spreads. So does it really matter?
That's true. I don't know. You like to think. I still think the Niners pull it off, but I don't know about. I wouldn't touch a 7-point spread. If like you're saying,
I wouldn't either.
If it got down
they're
to
the
like
second
that
game?
5, yeah, they're the night
I
game.
would take whatever winnings I had and just throw it on the money line, and
Yeah.
whatever I win is what I win.
winnings. It's like that would add funds.
No, if you're taking the Ravens, we know they're winning. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah. Somehow, whatever I bet on that game will just be.
You saw that Le'Veon Bell thing?
What did he say?
He was betting on basketball. I
Oh,
think Kyrie
yeah.
Irving was
Kyrie
on a
Irving
tear.
had like
He was
40 points.
I'll bet on him. He's gonna have
12.
nothing. He had 12 points.
Bro, last night.
One of us.
Last night, I'm not gonna lie. I did
Google
want the Bills
gobble
to win
one
last night, and it was like in that fourth quarter, around the time that the Bills were getting the ball back to go for that last drive, and I was so close to just putting the rest of the money in my
line?
FanDuel
Bills money line?
on the Chiefs. Because I was like, fuck it, the Chiefs are totally just gonna win this game.
Oh, just double.
The odds are like
just double.
minus 200 or whatever. Like,
double
I'm just
down.
gonna get this
Yeah,
dub.
yeah, just-
And worst case, I lose my money, but the Chiefs don't fucking make it to the next round.
Right,
And I'm cool
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
And I didn't do it. And what happens? They shanked the fucking field goal.
Not even close. Tyler
Wide
Bass. Hope you are learning Chinese, buddy, because that Chinese football league calling your name.
Or French, the Canadian Football League.
Oh God.
Oui, oui.
Parlez-vous français?
Wait, that's gonna be calling him after he misses a field goal up there.
That sucked. But that's bro. I don't know why anyone would want to be a kicker. If
He
I'm
pretty much already is in Canada. in
I'd
Buffalo.
rather be a fucking punter. Less pressure.
Yeah, that's like being like imagine being Thomas Morris. Like that's what I always said was like, why be a kicker when you can be a punter? No one ever says like, yo, like we lost this game because our punting was bad. Like, well,
I mean-
will they say it's just like, yeah, the punting could have been better, but they will never say that this game is solely
Yeah.
on the punting.
I mean,
Like, if
go back to 2010. Miracle in the Meadowlands to Sean Jackson. Coughlin was ripping into that punter.
But like once again,
But
like,
no one remembers that except the real diehard fans.
right? But like you like
Nah, we've
once
seen
ag-
that. We've seen that replay too many times.
once
to
again-
not notice Coughlin
But like
getting into his
once
ass.
again, it's just like
False.
fucking tackle Deshaun Jackson, or like why is it coming down to a punt return for a touchdown? One of the more unlikely plays in football.
But why punt it to him? Punt it out of
Look,
bounds.
look,
Make
I
them,
mean,
make them
that's-
throw it
he was-
70
look,
yards.
Did they tell him to punt it?
Yes,
Yes, that's why he's yelling at him.
That's why he's getting ripped apart. He was like they went to him and was like, do not punt it anywhere near Deshaun Jackson.
That's
Well,
what people have been saying
Still
whenever they
should've
go up against the
tackled him.
Bears for
Devin
10
Hester,
years
Devin
to Devin
Hester.
Hester.
was like, don't kick it to him.
Don't kick it to him, guys. 17 punt return touchdowns for his entire career.
Right to him. All right, good up, boys.
Good episode.